This guy.
That guy.
This guy over here.
This guy. Oh. All right. Well, NSIMA just left.
He's so fast. Wait, did he go poop?
No, not poop.
It's his birthday. He can do whatever he wants.
It is. Well,
Are we on?
yeah, we're on now.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it is his birthday. He could do whatever he wants. He could cry if he wanted to.
It's your birthday.
We got 2 Chain. 2 Chain, tell him what's up. Thanks for coming in today, man. I really appreciate it. Okay,
Man,
bro, you can stop rapping.
It's so cool that he's performing.
I'm fast as fuck, boy. I need to close the door.
Yeah.
We're having a party up in here today.
For your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like hoes.
All right, I think I need to film this pumpkin spice situation over here.
Yeah, I decided to treat myself today because Starbucks was like, I'll give you a free drink. So
This is how you get fucking jacked.
pumpkin spice cold foam cold brew, you know?
Mm.
And it's funny. Like, I learned about the pumpkin spice from a white woman. So
No way.
they always know about the pumpkin spice. Chocolate element down the hatch, half of it.
My God.
Man, you
Mixes
really were
baby up.
sprinting, huh?
Bro, I move fast as
That's it.
fuck, boy.
Well, now you got the fast shoes for it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
It's a one
so
sipper.
good. Yeah, I need to be careful with this one. I'm not going to gulp it down too fast.
That coffee cup is having the night of its life.
That coffee's going to squirt across the room.
Oh. It's going to be good.
Oh my
That is going to be really good.
Oh my goodness.
That's a great video, I think.
Yeah. Did you do the whole pack of Element or did you?
No, I didn't have to pack.
Let me get that.
It's so funny how we always just like,
Got the Element chocolate electrolytes being passed around this morning.
yep.
Works fantastic in your coffee, and even throw it in a protein shake. Freaking awesome in a protein shake.
Seriously. And like for those of you, because like sometimes if you just put it in pure coffee, I mean, I like it, but you know, if you don't want to do that, you can get yourself a sugar-free creamer, and it's like having a bit of milk and salt. It's a really good mix.
It's yummy.
Really good mix.
Yeah.
I love how you know, people have all these rules for fasting, then NSIMA just comes along and starts making up his own. He's like, what's the difference if you have, you know, like at first it started out, he was like, you know, I got 30, 40, 50 calories in there from this like little creamer thing. Now it's turned into like 300 or 500. He's gonna come in and eat a breakfast sandwich,
Still just
and he'd be like,
liquid.
yo, I'm still fasting.
Okay, this is one
It's
day.
all about your mindset.
This is one day, and this isn't 3 pumps of vanilla in here. It's 1 pump. So this is more like 150 to 200 calories. It's like 200 calories. So no, technically I'm not fasting.
But the Fairlife is another 150.
Oh yeah, I
so
forgot about the Fairlife. I forgot about the Fairlife.
It's empty calories, just protein.
Yeah, it just digests, just
Yeah.
disintegrates, dissipates.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We're now at meal status calories.
Yeah, this is
For
true.
people that can't see the podcast, my dad donated this dog that's got like a little punching bag in front
Look
of
at
him.
it go.
Looks like a boxer to me.
That thing's cute.
We now have a dog in the fight. Boom. I don't know where the hell he got this thing, but it's amazing. It's got this little thing on the side that you flick, and then the thing throws punches at this little red balloon thing in front of it.
It's perfect for the desk though. It like goes Jesus, John Cena, and what are we gonna name him?
Yeah, he needs a name.
He does.
It's our pet.
Doesn't he be a J? Or
Could be or some form of a JC. But I don't know. I don't want to jump on the name too soon.
Let's not rush it.
Yeah.
Let's give it time. Let's give it time.
Yeah, but for more information, or if you guys want to hop on this Element train just like us, head over to drinklmnt.com/powerproject. I got to check to see if they're still doing the free Element recharge pack. But if not, get a value bundle. That's going to get you 4 boxes for the price of 3. No code needed. You can get that chocolate salt, the new flavors, the what are they called? The watermelon salt, and then the grape. Oh my gosh, I forgot about the grapefruit.
Yeah, it's real good.
Grapefruit's amazing. We kind of, I think we're responsible for selling that one out though. We talked about it too much. We'll stop talking about it so that way
Delicious.
it's available. But links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Again, drinklmnt.com/power project. Again, no code needed. Just head over there ASAP.
Today's your birthday, huh?
It's my
Happy
birthday.
29.
Yeah.
28, 9.
29, bro.
Oh.
I had to Google it because I know that your birthday is around Quinn's birthday.
Uh-huh. When's
then
Quinn's
your-
birthday?
Her birthday was yesterday.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Sick. Happy birthday, Quinn. My
Mhm.
fellow Virgo queen. What's up?
Yeah. So I was like, I'll try to look it up. I was like, he's probably not going to say anything about it, so I can't find anything there. But you're popular enough to where you can just Google it.
It's funny.
I Googled it.
It's funny.
It worked.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Nah, everyone in my family kind of disses me because I just like, when my birthday comes around, I'm very quiet about it. I usually just like, just try to let the day go through.
Is it like a
Yeah.
big thing in your family or a big thing?
Well, so like in my family, I like birthdays for other people, cool, but I've never liked really personally doing things for my birthday. I usually like to like disappear. Honestly, like I like to like take a journal, disappear, and just maybe just be quiet for the day and like think about the past year.
People don't let you do that shit on Father's Day.
For good reason.
Father's Day, it's like, hey man, how about a fucking day off would be great.
Mm.
let me get to go disappear for a while.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
But usually the family wants to like do a bunch of shit with you and for you, and then you got to kind of hang in there for all that stuff. But
That's
it's
good.
it's fun though. But yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually, it was my dad's birthday this past weekend. And and
So many just
I know.
great,
Yeah.
awesome,
Good people.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny. I had no idea he ever said this because I say the exact same thing. But he's like, "Why are you asking me what I want to do for my birthday? Because it doesn't matter what I want to do." And people don't really understand that. And it's like, okay, well, if you ask me what I want to do for my birthday, I want to, whatever. I'll have steaks like right when I get home from work. Well, we can't do that because so and so is not off work yet, so for them to come over here we have to do it a little bit later, and then if we have to cook, maybe we should just go out somewhere. It's like, okay, well then you plan my birthday because obviously it doesn't matter what
And
I
maybe you
wanna
shouldn't
do.
have all that cholesterol.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, you know what? Just fuck it, man. I don't care.
Yeah, but
yeah.
so it's funny. Like I had no idea. My dad had the exact same thought, and I was just like, "Holy shit! I am literally turning into him."
Yeah.
It's weird.
When I first saw your dad, I was like, wow.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh, dude, it's
because
a-
I
it's
saw
a
the back
trip.
of his head, I was like, yeah,
Yep.
Papa Zaragoza.
Yep. And it's funny, like my brother and I look very similar,
Mhm.
and looking at pictures of my dad when he was younger and stuff, it's just like it looks like me with like a lot of hair. Like it's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Did he ask? Did he go bald late? Or,
Yeah.
okay.
He went bald a little bit later, but
Yeah.
early, whatever 20s, teens. I don't even know what year he was or how old he was in the pictures, but like
Mhm.
in that era, longer hair was in, so he had really long
Yeah.
hair, and it was just like,
Sick.
yeah.
What I will say though is that like I don't feel my age, which is nice. Like I still feel super young, energy wise. Because it's funny. I think I've said this multiple times. When I used to work at 24 Hour Fitness when I was younger, the older trainers and like membership managers or whatever would always be like, "Just wait until you're 30 and so, like your body starts doing this and you'll feel old." And I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't even feel any of that shit. I feel great
Yeah.
every day.
What I love that Gary Vee always preaches like, oh, you have so much time. You're 40 years old. You have so much time.
Yeah.
Blah, blah. But he posted something recently, and he was like, when I was 20 and my cousin was like 30, I was like, oh my God, he's so old and blah, blah, blah. Like, and I would think the same thing. And then I would also think like, as I'm 20 years old, like, damn, by time I'm, like 36 the way I am now, I'm going to like be so much smarter. I'm going to have things figured out. I'm going to be more mature. Obviously that's not the case.
Nope, we're babies. We're
But
children.
what he was saying, he was just like, 20-year-olds, if you're afraid of getting older, understand I still feel like I have the exact same mind as a 20-year-old,
Mhm.
as far as like the shit that I question, the shit that I find funny, all those same things. Like I still think the same way. It's
Mhm.
just like now I have different experiences that can help me guide myself into the right direction. But yeah, no, it's funny. Like I still have the same thoughts when I was, as I did back then. And it's just like, yeah, nothing really changed, just like I said, experiences.
It's fun to just get, I guess, for people to like just recognize it and not necessarily buy you anything or anything like that, but it's just nice that when someone thinks about it and thinks about you a little bit, you
Yeah.
know, it's and to me it doesn't matter either way. Like if people don't say anything about it, I don't care.
Mm.
But if they do, I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and then you see like tons of comments on like social media or whatever, people saying happy birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't really, I could care less about that. But like it when you have a family too, it's different. When you have kids
Oh yeah.
and your
yeah,
kids want to like do something or give you something, then it's really cool. Then you're
Uh-huh.
like, all right, fuck yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I'm not like anti-birthday or anything. No, I'm not the fucking Grinch. It's just like
You gonna have any birthday cake?
I don't think so.
Probably not. What about
Cake ain't
your
my thing.
What about like your mom? Does she get
I'm
excited?
gonna go visit her and
Yeah.
like we're gonna talk a bit. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. I usually talk with her a bit on my birthday. So, yeah, it's but like that's the thing. It's like just because I don't massively celebrate my birthday or anything or feel the need to doesn't mean I don't think other people should. Like
Right.
everybody's birthday is a different thing for them. Some people it holds a lot of significance, and that's a good thing.
Right.
That's a good thing. For me, my significance is just reflecting on the day.
Right.
So I really like just think about how the past year's been, differences in the way my mind works, all that type of stuff. That's what I usually do.
Yeah, it's interesting to be like super pumped about it because you didn't really do anything.
My mom did.
Yeah, it's
That
just-
was painful.
I guess it's a celebration of you like entering the world, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I always found it funny when I worked in an office where people would take their birthday off, like off of work. And it's like, oh, you got something planned? Like, no, it's my birthday. I don't work on my birthday. Oh, you don't? Okay.
Yeah.
And I've heard people like, especially the younger ones, say like, it's my birthday week, or even my birthday
month.
And it's like,
that is a very interesting
wow,
thing to me. It's like,
I think that's taking it too far.
yeah, yeah, that's. But you know what? Again, to each their own.
You know,
To
you're right.
each
Yeah,
their own.
True.
You know, it's good to want to celebrate. You know what I mean? You know, like, if people want to like really just go all out and celebrate for a week, fucking, if you can,
Right.
if you want to do that shit.
Yeah.
Have fun, be happy. That's
Dude,
good.
Did you guys see Dan Fleischman's birthday party?
No,
Dude, he had like he just called it a pizza party, but he had
must have been wild.
he had Steve Aoki there.
Of
He
course
had
he did.
he had Lil Wayne perform.
Of course he did.
Oh my god,
What
dude.
the fuck?
This guy had a full-on festival for his birthday. That's doing it right.
Dan Fleischman, that man is amazing.
Seeing
Crazy.
O'Hearn was there. I think
Really?
Bo Hightower was there. Like I'm sure we know a fuck
This is
ton of
just
people
a
that were
very
there.
interesting just list of people
Yeah.
at this birthday.
Yeah.
Huh.
I saw him get thrown in the pool.
Yeah, he got thrown in the pool.
When was his birthday?
well, not this weekend, but I think last weekend.
Last weekend?
Mhm.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah. So we'll do that for you next year, but this year,
Mm.
we're just low key.
I'm not a huge fan in general of like scheduled days off. Not a huge fan of it.
What do you
Like
mean scheduled days off?
of just like not doing anything on a particular day. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's my
Oh.
birthday, so I'm not gonna go to work. I'm not gonna lift. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't personally for myself. I don't like that. I would rather take the day as it comes, and then if it turns out that there's like a bunch of stuff to do, and it looks like it might compromise other things that I'm more interested in for the day, then maybe I'll push stuff off and say, yeah, I'll get to that tomorrow. But for the most part, I don't really operate that way. I like to be doing stuff every day.
I agree with you. I agree there. There's really no day other than like maybe maybe my mom's birthday or something. Not that I'm gonna take it off, but maybe do a little less. But there's no day that I feel like I want to just stop doing stuff.
Right.
I can't. I don't feel right about it. Like I feel
Right, to not get in some walking, to not get in some lifting, or right.
yeah, and I'm just like, something has to, you know what I mean? I gotta fucking do something. It gets frustrating.
Yeah, you end up having too much energy and being too fired up.
Mm-hmm. Like, isn't that interesting? Like the days that I don't know if you guys have definitely felt this, but there are days that like and it hasn't happened in a minute, but if I haven't really done anything on that day, that night is like I can't sleep well. I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like I have to do something.
Yeah, I like
Right?
to be able to fall asleep pretty easy.
Me
you
too.
know? And I always do, even though I've had issues with staying asleep sometimes. Falling asleep has never been a problem because
Mhm.
I've like I feel like I put in a good amount of work for the day.
Yeah.
And when it's time to go to bed, and my head hits the pillow, and I'm usually out.
Mental energy is wasted. Physical energy is
Every
wasted.
once in a while, I'll be up for no reason. I don't know why, but that'll happen, but not that often.
How's the 20,000 steps treating you as far as sleep is concerned? Are you just like knocking out right now?
Yeah, I am, and I'm falling asleep a little bit better, and I think I'm just sleeping a little bit better in general.
Yeah.
I'm waking up a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't really have a hard time waking up, but I think I'm like excited to go get the steps in, because if I don't, and they're like piled up towards the end of the day, it kind of sucks.
Yeah.
So I got to try to get out in front of it. It's kind of the key to the whole thing, is to get the majority of it done in the beginning of the day.
What's the worst situation that you've been in so far that it's actually piled up? What did you have to do? Like, how many steps did you have to finish if you were going to be successful?
So far, I had to just I didn't have to, but I just chose to. Rather, I just walked around in my house for a while. I just took a bunch of laps at the end of the day.
Well, you have a good enough house where you can.
Yeah, my wife turned the TV on, and she's like, "Let's watch this show or whatever." I'm like, "All right," I'm watching it as I'm walking, and I'm like doing these like figure eights back and forth, and got my steps in that way. But it's been good. I actually think that I don't know about 20,000, just because it's time consuming.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to keep it maybe at 15, like all the time.
Yeah.
See if I can just keep that, because I normally probably do like 10 anyway. But every once in a while, there's days where I, get in like half of that. And so I was just like, well, it's a good practice. It allows me to eat a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I feel good energy from being able to eat more. I know that that's a weird thing with the energy in, energy out crowd sometimes, but at least in my experience with bodybuilding, it did feel like that the cardiovascular training that you did burned fat, and that you supplemented with your food in a particular way that allowed you to have good performance when it was time to train.
Mm-hmm.
And those things felt like, and the lifting felt like it was an opportunity to build muscle. I know it doesn't like strictly work that way.
Yeah.
But that's the way that it felt. And right now I feel like my body's kind of working that way, where sometimes it feels like your body's not sure what to do. And I'm not even saying that this is like scientific stuff that my body's actually doing, but this is just a feeling. And it feels like I'm able to continually get a little bit leaner. A lot of it just has to do with the walking. But I also think by giving myself a little bit more fuel and being less calorically restricted, maybe I'm able to have a little bit better output. So my workouts are 5-6% better, and I'm lifting every single day. I think that's a factor too.
Dude, I'm super pumped by seeing all the stories of people that are doing 20,000 steps a day right now, because this is like, just doing those steps is a catalyst towards a lot of other things. I don't know if we were talking on the podcast or we were texting about it, how movement and standing and all of that, it makes you want to move more. Like, I've noticed when we started doing the podcast and I was standing, and then standing when I'm working, I just move more. I fidget more. My legs do things. My hands do things. All of this NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis, all of this burns extra calories, even though you're not trying to burn extra calories. And then the great other benefit of it's not just walking, but then just standing is like your glutes are active when you're standing. Your abs are a little bit more active. Your hip flexors aren't in this like up strained position. Everything is lengthened, so that now if you actually want to go work out, your performance is better in the gym. You're moving better. Everything's better if you're not sitting down all the time.
And how about your mind?
Oh, yeah.
I heard somebody explaining, people use thermostats for all kinds of explanations for stuff, which is kind of an interesting, I guess, like metaphor. But this guy was kind of explaining how you should be able to manage stuff that comes your way, like a thermostat. When there's an adjustment in temperature, when the room gets a little bit too hot, the air conditioning will come on. If it's going to get too cold and the environment's going to get stressful because it's going to get too cold, the heat will come on. And you should have skill sets. You should be working towards having skill sets that allow you to manage the temperature in the room all the time for yourself, using that as a metaphor for stress. If you feel better, you'll be better. If you feel better, you'll be able to make better judgment calls. Let's say let's say I got some shitty news in the morning, and it just seems like for the day, it seems like shit's kind of sliding downhill. Um, Now I already have a lot of experience with exercise, and I already done a bunch of it. But let's say that happens, and I start to feel like in a slump. I start to feel like, man, like that. I can't get my mind off of this. I'm not even gonna bother to lift. I might even hurt myself if I try to lift. Um, and then let's say you get into like a little bit of a slump for a couple days. Well, you probably would have been better off finding some sort of alternative version of what you normally do, rather than like completely just being down in the dumps, saying like, oh man, like, because and Jocko Willing talks about this kind of stuff pretty often, and so does David Goggins. David Goggins probably more so than anybody else on the planet, of just not letting that door crack open at all, and that is can be really, really difficult. But the temptation to not do something, or the temptation to act on something that is otherwise not great for you, can really lead you down a path that makes you feel worse all the time. So when I run into people and they say, man, I can't do that diet, or I can't make time for the gym, I can't do it. I'm like, what the fuck? You can do it. Of course you can do it. Like, you could go to the gym. What the fuck's your problem? Like, that's what's going on in my head. I'm kind of thinking like, how are we on opposite sides? But we're on opposite sides because they're not in a healthy frame of mind yet. That they are not going to make healthy decisions when they're not a healthy person at that moment. They are frustrated, agitated, and it's going to be harder for them to be able to have the skill set to adjust to keep things less stressful. And in order to keep things less stressful, in my opinion, the only way to know how to do that is to intentionally make things more stressful via lifting weights, running, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is you want to throw yourself into.
Exactly. And you know what the funny thing about it is that like initially it is a bit stressful, like building these habits of working out, bettering your nutrition, fasting. But over time, it actually takes away so much stress. Like, there's nothing about my life that I feel is stressful in a bad way. But if somebody were to look at what I do, they'd be like, what the fuck? That looks so hard. But actually, it brings me so much peace, calm frame of mind. It makes everything in my life just smooth. And I don't have to think about it. I'm not even trying. But the initial aspect of it is going to take you continuing to make mistakes. It's going to take you binging on your diet, reflecting on why you binged and changing that habit. It's going to take you like failing at getting some steps in, then figuring out what can I do to get more steps in, and doing that over time. And then you build it into a habit where you're not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? But once all of that is put on autopilot, it makes your life so much easier. It makes your mind so much clearer. It's amazing.
Do you occasionally go to like meditate, or go to just try to like relax, and or even just like driving your car somewhere? Do you occasionally get hit with like weird thoughts of like almost like being overwhelmed? Does that happen to you occasionally? And if it doesn't happen to you now, did it ever used to happen to you?
I mean, overwhelmed, I wouldn't say overwhelmed where I'm just based in stress and I have so many things I have to do.
And you mainly wouldn't say overwhelmed just because you don't believe in using that word, probably more so than anything at this stage in your life, right?
I think that's more so the reason.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like, if I'm being totally honest, yeah, every once in a while I feel fucking overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to use that fucking word. Like, I'm not going to bow down to that word.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there, because like there's always things that I'm just like, it'll hit me. I was like, oh God, that has to get done, and that has to get done, and that has to get done. But I don't look at it as being overwhelmed. I'm just like, okay, it has to get done. Like, let's go find a place and go get this shit done.
And then how? Yeah, how do we do it?
Yeah, exactly. Like, the mind goes immediately to, how can I just get this done and just get it out of my head? But the feeling of like I haven't had the feeling of being overly stressed or anxious about anything.
Something popped in your head
since my last relationship. But outside of that, I've been good.
But that's a great example. That made other decisions. That's a real world example.
It's literally the truth, though.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally like.
Did that make other decisions tougher in that you know, however many months that
Oh,
sort of thing lasted for.
bruh. Yeah, like if anything, that just taught me that number one, I've known that the people that you keep closest to you can really dictate your trajectory, but that drilled it into the back of my skull that like you need to be very, very, very careful of the people that you keep very close to you, because I was never the only times I ever got anxiety in my life or deep levels of stress were the times that maybe I got a deep injury where I couldn't move. And like when I was 13 and I couldn't run. And that period where I didn't have lifting was really bad. My mom knew it was really bad. When I was in college and I got the bunion net surgery and I literally couldn't run and I was stuck in a cast and I couldn't lift for a few months either. It was not good for me. And then the next time was that last relationship. And I was like, wow, this is what anxiety feels like. I don't like it. So I'm like nowadays, I'm so careful. I'm going to continue to be so careful about the people that are closest to me that have that ability, because that can affect things. That can really affect things.
Relationships are really weird.
Yeah, man.
It's like for some reason, one or both of you is still trying to make it work. It's clear that it's not working.
Yeah.
But just because that's what you're used to, you can't think of anything else, and you're like, "This is, I thought I was supposed to be with this person," and so that's all you think about.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's crippling sometimes. You know, was jujitsu harder? Like, was it hard to leave that and just go and focus? And did you have some shitty roles because of it, or were you able to block the things out and kind of go?
Yeah, that was the thing that freed up a lot of my mind. Like I would like, and it still does. Like I always look forward to jujitsu. I always look forward to fitness because it's a place that I can just let go of energy. And jujitsu wasn't harder.
Especially jujitsu. I'm sure you don't have like your phone on you in jujitsu.
Yeah, you just get to roll. I don't like during jujitsu. I don't think about things outside of it. Just roll, feel good, move on with the day. But no, like that wasn't harder. That jujitsu wasn't hard or anything. Sleep was definitely hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say so I mean, from my experience, like back when I was shooting like a lot of videos and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd have like this big old shoot plan the next day. It's like, dude, I gotta be in San Jose by like 7 a.m. So that means I gotta leave by blah blah blah. I gotta go to bed now. Have this big old long day, and my ex would be like, this is the perfect opportunity to be mad and start an argument right now that's going to last all night long. So when I was out of the house, yeah, it didn't really affect me. But like to get out of the house, it's like, fuck, dude, like all this stuff is going to roll over to the next day.
Yeah.
So that's when that shit would trickle into other things that I was doing. And that shit sucked.
You know what I'll say? I'm not going to, I don't want to. The big thing that is super important is just like habits, man. It's like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and y'all like there are some really bad habits on a certain on one end, right? You can't do, if you're someone who's trying to have good habits, who's trying to move forward, who's focused on self-development, building better habits for a better life so that there's peace. If the individual you're with isn't about that, like good habits, healthy habits, right? It's going to be very hard to coexist if you guys are living on two different ends of the spectrum. It's going to be very hard to coexist. So it's tough, especially when you really care about somebody, but like the habits just don't line up. It's rough. It's a rough thing. So just keep that in mind. You know what the funny thing is? I used to think that, and in the past, I used to tell myself this, that, oh, it doesn't matter if the person I'm with is like super into the gym or super into fitness, as long as they're like a just a cool person that I like, right? I think I was deluding myself. And it's not that someone has to be super into the gym, but if an individual isn't into their health, isn't into taking care of their body, and it's not just the body, because taking care of your body has a direct input in terms of the way your mind works, which has direct input on all your actions that you take. It's like when you see somebody that's in shape, you know that there are certain things, and it's not that everybody's in shape that is just like a great, I'm not saying that, but generally the archetype of a person that is physically fit, that kind of shows what might be going on up here too, because they care about themselves. They care about the way their body moves, their health. And if they care about their physical health, there's a good chance that they care about their mental health too.
People say that about your desk and about your car, right? Like not the price of your car, but how you keep your car. Like,
Keep your car. Yeah.
do you have like tons of cups and bunch of shit in your car, and is your desk all messy and some of these things? Maybe that means, I don't think it always means those things, but it could possibly mean that you're disorganized in a lot of other areas of your life. And I think if you were walking around with excess body weight on you, I'm just going to call it what it is. It looks like that when stress and when things hit you a certain way, you interpret them as negative, and you are a person that I wouldn't think anything different if I saw someone drunk every day, because in both cases, this is a person that has to hit the dopamine button all the time because they're not used to being able to control their environment with their own thoughts, because at some point they lost their mind. And that's the whole thing with training, is you're not just training your body, you're training your mind. And there's so much research. I mean, the research on this stuff, and we'll ask someone a lot smarter than us when we have Andrew Huberman in about all this stuff. But the production of BDNF and all these other magnificent things that get produced in the brain from exercise, they're just off the charts. And like NSIMA said, it doesn't necessarily make you a better person. It doesn't make you necessarily a smarter person or anything like that. But it does have an indication of how you are handling and probably managing your life. And I think more so than anything, it gives you something to kind of hang on to. In moments of stress, you now have preset habits that you'll probably always want to revert back to. If I was going through something really hard, I would imagine, let's say I was going through like a divorce or something, right? I would imagine there would be a time period where I might be like, fuck the gym. Yeah, fuck the diet, And I might be, there's kids involved. There's a lot involved, right? So that would be a challenging situation. But the challenge of that situation negatively impacting me 100% in all areas of my life, that would not happen. I know for a fact that would not happen. I've had relatives, I've had my mom die, I had my brother die, and right away it was like, gym, fucking diet, like pay attention to that shit, because this is what you've always done. So I know that I might lose myself for a minute, and I might even say, fuck it, man, I want to just drink a bunch or something. But I would know better than to even get too involved with anything like that, because that would throw me off, and I wouldn't be able to have any sort of reset. It's going to allow me reacting in a way that would be way different than what my body's used to. Overall, I know that would be a net negative for me. And so if I did any of that, which is understandable, it might just be for a day or two, and then I'd be like, okay, you need to get your shit back together. Or maybe I'd even lose my rhythm for a couple of weeks even. Sounds totally reasonable.
That's very reasonable. But when you said that, it reminded me of something that happened recently. It was like it was 2019. A close family member here in Sacramento died, and I got that call on I think it was a Tuesday, because I was going to jujitsu, and I went to jujitsu, and afterwards I felt better. I went to go to that family's house because there's just a lot of people there, but like that was my immediate thing. Like, fuck, just like get this energy out. And just like you said, like that's something that helps me feel better. You know what I mean? Like that's why we mentioned at the beginning, building these habits initially is hard, but after you do it for a while, it becomes your mode of being. It becomes the thing that you do when things are harder. You go and you get exercise in, because how you're going to feel afterwards. You know that you absolutely will feel good after. Let's compare it to different vices that people have. Some people, when things get stressful, when a really bad thing happens, their mode is to go drink alcohol and get drunk so they don't have to think about it. But that doesn't lead to a positive. For some people, it's eating excessive amounts of food. It doesn't lead to a positive. It may feel good in the moment. Drinking might feel good in the moment, but it doesn't lead to a net positive.
Mhm.
But if you can build the habit of getting some movement, doesn't have to be the gym, could be just doing something that makes you sweat and move, always leads to a positive in terms of your actual like feeling of your body and your mind and everything. It never leads to a negative.
Yeah, and it makes other positive things even better. So when you guys were talking about like you like to kind of exhaust yourself so that way you can kind of finally relax, because if you don't do that, then you kind of feel like shit, you're a little fidgety, you're like can't rest or whatever. For me, if I don't have an awesome day, like there's no way I'm gonna turn on my Xbox. Like there's absolutely no fucking way. Like I can't. Like I feel like the biggest fucking loser if I don't have a very productive day, and then like let's say I don't have a productive day and I waste the rest of my night playing video games. That's just not gonna happen. Flip that around. I have a very productive work day. I have an amazing gym session. Dude, that 20 minutes of playing Hades is amazing.
Great game, by the way, people.
Dude,
you have to buy it.
oh
if you
my
haven't.
God,
Oh,
it is
fuck, it's
so good. So good.
Yes, it is.
I barely got to like the second like realm or whatever you want to call it of
Uh-huh.
Hades, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm barely scratching the surface. This game's fucking incredible.
I
But
just
anyway,
bought,
yeah.
Ratchet and Clank.
Heard good
the
things.
new PS5 one.
Yeah,
it's
heard good
mad
things.
It's mad good.
But anyway, yeah, what I'm saying is, so even if maybe you don't necessarily love that feeling of being in the gym,
Mhm.
that thing that you do love is going to amplify that. Now, assuming that thing you love isn't like just getting hammered, but
Yeah.
but I mean, I guess that will have more of a less of a net negative because you won't be able to do it as hard if you're training. But yeah, speaking of drinking, are we going to talk about
The sober Octoberness.
Sober October?
Okay.
Not sure if you guys were done, but that's just.
I wanted to mention this kind of a couple last things here. One is so I went and got some coffee yesterday, which we won't be able to have coming up. But yeah, for October we're going sober, even against caffeine and stuff like that. We'll make you guys more aware of that in a second. But
Sure.
so I went and I got some coffee, and by the way, I think I told you guys about this. I got a Venti Passion tea with 2 Splendas in it. It was really good.
Yeah.
So it's a low carb and it tastes really good. Anyway, I ordered that, and the girl behind the counter, she's like, "How was your day, man?" And I was like, "Oh, it was awesome." I was like, I did a run in the morning. I was like, I lifted. I was like, I actually got my 20,000 steps in for the day, and I just came back from my daughter's birthday barbecue party. She's like, "Shit." She goes, "That's a productive day." Like, even me saying that to her, she recognized. So it's like, how do I feel about it? You know, how does my body and brain feel about it? I don't feel exhausted from it or anything. I feel like accomplished. You know, whether it is some sort of great achievement, some of the things that I did do is very debatable, right? Like it doesn't really matter but it felt like it. Felt like I did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It felt good, and that's the whole point. That's the whole thing with fitness is it can help make you feel better. The interesting thing is that you can get so locked into it that not doing it kind of makes you feel like shit.
Yeah.
and kind of like it can be agitating. You just don't feel right. You're like, fuck, man. I've had times where, you know, I've traveled overseas and stuff like that, and it's hard to get like back in rhythm. You know, you fly for 18 hours or something like that, and then it's very difficult to figure out how to get to a gym or exercise all that much other than some walking. And so you might have like 2, 3, 4 days. By the time even just 2 or 3 days goes by, I'm starting to I'm like, fuck, man, I need to figure out something, and it has to be more than just walking. You know, I got to figure out a way to like have some sort of resistance training. Otherwise, I feel like I'm going nuts.
Yeah. But that, you know, we're about to get this sober October thing, but that's the cool thing. I think before I started the podcast with you guys, like if I didn't get a gym session in or jujitsu, it had to be one of those. It had to be a hard gym session. I wasn't okay. But as we've just like started doing more things as far as our fitness is concerned, I'm okay if I don't do jujitsu or if I don't lift. If I just do a little like 10-minute, 15-minute kettlebell thing, right? And I really just am able to go at that for like with just a kettlebell. And I think 2020 helped me with this too. I'm good. You know, so like I'm able to be okay with just even simpler forms of fitness as long as I can just get my body doing something for a little bit. I'm okay. I think that's a good thing to realize. You don't want to get too stuck in on the hardcore workout. If you don't get that 2-hour workout in, you're fucked.
Yeah, it's huge. I sometimes go in the gym and just pull the sled, pull
Yeah.
it forward, pull it backwards. I think a couple days ago I did it for like 12 minutes. I think I did a little bit of like tricep work and bounced on out of the gym. I agree. It doesn't have to be a killer workout every single time.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Sober October. So
Hey.
you guys know Sober October, made famous by podcast legend Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is in town, by the way. I think on Friday, I think is when his show is.
I have
or
a ticket to
Saturday.
that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's super exciting. I'm fired up to go check that out. But I think, I'm not exactly sure what is all involved with Joe Rogan's version. I think he pretty much just abstains from booze. But I also think that you guys were telling me before the show that maybe last time they did it, he stayed away from marijuana. We're going to, for ourselves, we don't really drink a ton. So not drinking is going to be fairly easy. Nsima and I really like Kratom. I know Andrew likes it a little less than Nsima and I do. So we're going to ditch Kratom as well. And we're going to ditch caffeine completely. So
Are there any are there any stipulations, loopholes, asterisks on the caffeine?
Okay, so
caffeine's hard to get away out of your diet.
hear me out, Mark. Hear me out, right? Andrew Huberman says that there's L-theanine in green tea. So how about just a wee bit of green tea in the morning to give me that little pep in my step? I ain't gonna be doing no kratom, right? There's no.
I think there's a little bit of caffeine.
I think the rule needs to be like it would have to at least say decaffeinated on it. So you'll have to bring it in, and you'll have to get approved by Andrew and I, by the committee.
Yes.
Need 2 votes.
Okay. You know what? That's fine. Decaffeinated green tea.
Because it will there'll still be some trace amount of caffeine.
And the L-theanine will be inside of it, so that'll help. Yeah. Okay.
So then,
Seems getting nervous.
because Coke Zero has caffeine, so
Yeah, what the fuck are we without all these drugs?
we ain't shit.
We're nothing.
Coke Zero doesn't have caffeine, but I think there's many that don't have caffeine, but like that would be the equivalent of me drinking Coke Zero. Like, oh, it's not a direct source of caffeine, so it's okay. But
Andrew's like,
it's
if I have
not.
to give it my Coke Zero, you can't have green tea. Shut up.
It would be too easy. We would just
No,
be
you're right.
substituting one drug for the other.
You're right.
How about, what do you guys think of
Oh fuck.
no soda, no tea, and no coffee?
No, you know what? So I okay.
Mark's looks like no pleasure. Let's have no pleasure for the
How
mic.
about we just no food, no oxygen, huh? That sounds like fun. What, you guys want a challenge? Let's just stop breathing.
Oxygen deprivation. Is really good point.
Imagine how strong you'll be at the end of the month if you just
No
stop
fapping?
breathing.
I know that
Yeah,
you're
that's
already.
fine.
That's already
I'll
that's
beat
another,
that.
Yeah,
you
you
realize
will.
that. Oh man, yeah. That's easy. That's easy.
Yeah, I could. I don't want to do without any
I could do without soda.
sodas
Because I love my diet ginger ale, but
I
could do
could
without
fall
soda.
back on just the sparkling water, but
There
like
you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy a root beer from
This
time
month
to
is about
time.
this month is about no enjoyment.
No enjoyment. What the fuck?
Is anybody going to join us? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, let's see.
Very
You also,
echoey in
you
here.
also mentioned no marijuana, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna kick
gotta,
that out.
Gotta smoke the rest of my crack.
No psychedelics?
before the. I definitely, this is gonna, I'm shooting myself in the foot for sure. But with Rogan and those guys, they also have some form of a challenge.
Yeah.
They did like it was like I forgot how many things of yoga for the whole month, and then that sort of thing. But I don't know if we wanted to do anything like that,
I think that'd be cool.
considering we're already active. But like I said, because the alcohol thing would be really easy for us.
Yeah,
we gotta
lift
step
every
it
day
up.
would be cool.
Okay, lifting
think-
every day is
I
pretty good.
I think we can commit to that.
I commit to that. Yeah,
Mhm.
can do some from lifting every day. Some form of lifting every day can definitely do that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
30 days. So whatever. What is this? How many days is October? 30, 31?
It's about a
31.
month.
Yep.
31. Every day we're gonna lift. Okay. Every day we lift. No alcohol, no caffeine, no
Gotta
psychedelics,
blast right through that Halloween party, you know.
no diet sodas. Okay, for the listeners though, let's let them have their diet soda. Just because some people, that's their thing.
You're too
That helps them
lenient,
not
bro.
drink soda.
You're too lenient.
Is that too lenient for the listeners? You know what?
I mean,
if y'all want to join us on the no soda thing, join us on the no soda
Yeah,
thing.
there you go.
Actually, join us on the no soda thing.
Yeah. What about BCAAs or EAs?
Oh, what? That's good for you.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, so
So anything that just tastes sweet,
anything fun, yeah.
that's good for people.
Artificial sweeteners are okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to draw the line.
I just want to make sure I don't I'm eating something and
I
then
think
you guys
some-
are like,
I
"What the
think some
fuck?"
I think some aminos are good, but
Yeah.
let's just encourage people to drink just regular water a little bit more
Mhm.
than
And
normal.
electrolytes.
Yeah, you get
Of
get some
course.
electrolytes
Right.
in there.
Yeah.
Supplement.
hmm
Okay.
You can definitely make something really cool out of electrolytes. Like think about like the element citrus
Mhm.
salt and maybe some type of there's something at the store that you can put in there that's just like, ooh, this is a party.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. October.
And Seema's gonna come in on the second day with a coffee, be like, I'm out. I broke.
A coffee and a joint, like fuck y'all.
Oh my gosh.
All right, we'll give you guys more details on that coming up. I think food wise, I mean, we can just encourage people to kind of stick to some of the principles that we share. We can write it out for people too, so they can follow along in
Mhm.
whatever way they can.
Mhm.
Yeah, Gear Z Net says maybe 1 gallon of water a day. I think that's kind of a lot, but
Mm.
Especially when you drink when you get more electrolytes in,
Mhm.
you'll notice that you don't necessarily you don't even feel the need to hydrate with a gallon, depending on your size, of
Mhm.
course. But I mean, when I think about it, even a lot of guys that are like 190, 180.
What we could do is we could do the 2 glasses of water before you eat.
Yes.
that
That could be added
definitely
in.
works too. I know
Very good
I
idea.
knew it, but I just needed somebody to just be.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that cue.
Mhm.
I keep forgetting about it, but I have done it at least once so far. But
Mm-hmm.
it'd be good to have a reminder to give it a go and see what the hell happens with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
But yeah, a
it
gallon
works.
is probably, I think, maybe too
Too
much.
much.
I don't think I drink that much.
I just
water.
would pee nonstop.
Yeah.
I already pee quite a bit, but with Element it helps
Mhm.
because I don't have to drink as much, and then whatever it actually uses the water.
Yeah, it's so interesting, man. When we look back at the things we used to do, the habits we used to have, like I really did carry a gallon jug of water
Mhm.
around with me around like high school, and when I was in
Damn.
college, like I carried a gallon jug of water with me. I look back at that, I'm like, I really did that.
I-
Whoa.
I remember when the last office job that I had, they had a filtered water system thing or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and I would take empty gallons and fill up all my gallons at work when everyone left because I
Mhm.
worked a later shift,
Yeah.
and so I'd fill up all my gallons, and that was what we had in our apartment. But yeah, so I was technically walking around with a gallon, but I had multiple gallons.
Mm-hmm.
Good water. It was cheap. It was free.
Want to take us on out of here, Andrew?
Sure thing. All right. Hopefully, you guys are going to join us on Sober October. And like Mark said, more details and information as we get closer. We were just talking about drinking a gallon of water. You don't have to do that, especially when you have Element electrolytes. For more information on them, please check out the links down in the description as well as the podcast show notes. Follow the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project on Instagram, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. My Instagram and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. Jean-Claude Van Daddy, where you at?
Thanks, Zaddy. At Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube. At Nsima Yin Yang on TikTok and Twitter. Mark,
Happy birthday, Nsima.
thank you very much. I
Happy
appreciate
birthday.
that.
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later.